Good evening, everybody. Dobro jutro. I know I still have Croatia in my mind almost 2 weeks later, and even though I've been around, even though this is my first time showing my face on camera since the trip occurred, but I've still my presence has been felt, even though I haven't physically been around. So yes, as I mentioned, this poem is part of the series of pieces that have been coming out in the last few days related to the Croatia trip. But this particular piece is not about a place in the country, rather a small token, a small token of it that was given on the way on the way out at the end of the trip. I'm holding it in the palm of my hand, and of course, knowing me, even the most inanimate of objects is fair game to be turned into a poem, and this piece is no exception. The poem goes something like this: As I hold the Licitar heart close, a brief flash of light appears. What do I see in the tiny mirror? A tiny piece of me. Hold it to my heart. The bliss is back of warm days spent along the Adriatic Sea. In my hand, a reminder, the light and inspiration that I am. For it's not just a remembrance of Croatia, this is a measure of kindness from someone you got to know, a newly made friend from far away. So yes, there is a bit of a story behind the Licitar heart that I have in my hand here. We go back to the very end of the trip, literally the last bus ride the last bus ride on the last day of the trip. We were in Dubrovnik. Our guide Nikoleta had a had a bag of these hearts, which in Croatia they used to. If you love someone as a token of your love, you would give them these hearts. And for a time they actually had edible versions of these, but nowadays they come as the ceramic piece that I hold in my hand. And it was just like that, kind of like that finishing touch to a 10-day trip, which back the year before, when I was struggling to figure out where the next destination was going to be, I did not know where I was going to go. But the fact but my mind like wandered towards Croatia, towards the Adriatic, and I was kind of over the 10 days of the trip, I was validated in my decision as we went from the continental portion of the country at the start to the coast and to the island of Var as well. Croatia's a beautiful place. It was a wonderful group that that joined the tour and Nikoleta from the didn't even have to say anything. On the night of the orientation meeting, I could pick up her. I could pick up her. I could pick up her joy. Like I could physically feel it without even saying anything. Let alone the fact that she was kind and willing to help. Knowing that my legs are not great, she was willing to help me when she could. How else would I have gotten my half of my hiking stick out of the lake, out of the during the hike at Piltovis Lakes? I didn't expect her to be an unlikely champion of my writing as I dropped that first hint of a Poetic Journey's release at dinner at the very start of the at the at the at the at the hotel in Zagreb, and I happened to show her the author copy of the book. The fact that she was reading, I could feel the glimmer of joy in her eyes as she was reading my words back to me, and me trying to like handle this without turning a million shades of red. That's kind of the sign you know that you have that's someone that you who you want to keep in your orbit. And every time I've seen this heart on my desk over the last 2 weeks, I think of her. I think of Croatia. I think of the group. The fact that we're all scattered across the country and across the ocean. I miss everybody. I mean, yes, I've gone around the bend with all these tours, and they kind of pick up the pattern where you're meeting each other at breakfast every morning. You're on the bus together. You have dinners together, and you begin to bond to the point by the time you're done, it almost feels like you're a family without all the baggage that normally accompanies family. Even though like we're 2 weeks post trip, I still have Croatia in my mind. Like I had a great time. I didn't want the trip to end. I just wanted to like keep exploring the coastline. Hey, who knows? Maybe possibly I'll be back again at some point in time. A return's gonna happen. Nobody knows. But with this heart that I have in my hand, I'll always carry a piece of the country with me, along with the Dinamo Zagreb shirt that I'm wearing, along with the Croatia scarf that I wore during the reading video at the farewell dinner. I'll have pieces of the country and this trip with me, even no matter how long after the trip physically ends. Vala Hrvatska, Vala to the group, and Vala to Nikoleta. Love you all. Well, everyone, that's it for this week's video. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your week. And from here in New York, do videnia. I'll see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.